Okay, so now coming back, there was a short interruption there due to the power. So now just coming back to the different types of beams, we know we have a cantilever beam, a simple beam, and an overhanging beam. Now we already discussed what is a cantilever and a simple beam. An overhang beam is a simple beam that extends beyond one of the supports. For example, if you look at the simple beam with two supports at both the ends, and imagine if the beam is gonna extend beyond this point or this point, that kind of a beam we call it as an overhanging beam. Okay, and then we have the double overhang beam, which is like if you are gonna extend beyond both the supports on either side of the support. So that is what we have over here. That is the double overhang beam. Okay. Let us now look at slab. Now here you can see the different types of slab. Slabs are again different types. Okay, one-way slab, two-way slabs. Okay, now here the difference between a one-way slab and a two-way slab is in the kind of the support systems and how the spanning systems are considered, and also the proportion of the structural grid, that is with respect to the length and the breadth. These are the criterias that determine the one way and the two way spanning systems. Okay, so now these are the basics. This is not essentially a part of your core syllabus, but just want to take you through the basics of what happens. Okay, so now we are going to look at soil. Okay, now we know that the foundation is going to rest on the soil. Yeah, we need to understand the bearing capacity of the soil, means the strength the soil can take per unit force. So high bearing capacity, is it of low bearing capacity, is the soil stable, is the soil unstable? Okay, so that is what we need to understand over here. Now this is the foundation, the load coming onto it. This seems to be a very stable soil, so the vertical pressure doesn't actually create any issues over here. But we also need to take a look at the lateral pressure. Okay, so now if you look at the compared to the previous slide, high bearing capacity, we do not really need to bother. We really need not worry about it. Okay, because the structure can stand comfortably. When it comes to low bearing capacity, what you need to do is the soil has to be tested, and based on that we have to decide on the type of the foundation that we need to go with. Okay, so stable soil, unstable soil. Okay, again if you look at the next slide over here, we are going to look at the columns. Now if you look at the columns, we see we know that the columns are rigid, relatively slender structural members designed to support axial compressive loads applied to the end of the member. Okay, so here you can see when the forces are applied from the top and from the bottom, how uh, the slender column is going to behave. Okay, so this is what happens when it comes to load support. There could be buckling, there could be bending, there could be crushing. So that is why column design is again essential. Foundation system, superstructure, substructure, foundation, and the supporting soil and the rock. Now here we are going to look at the foundation. These are all we are looking from the perspective of structural elements. That is the roof slab, the floor slab, the beam, the column, and then finally the foundation. So here you can see the foundation sitting on the soil. The active earth pressure acts laterally. Okay. Then comes the passive earth pressure. Okay. The lateral force, the passive force, the factors that influence the type and design of foundation. Number one is the load. okay, dead load and the live load. The other factors are the wind induced uh, you know forces, overturning, uplifting, earthquake, active and passive earth pressure, the pressure that is induced by the surrounding soil mass, pressure that is induced by the soil mass due to horizontal movement of foundation, etc., lateral forces, shear resistance due to friction between foundation and the soil beneath, which you can see actually, sorry, which you can actually see over here. So there could be a movement, a displacement. So all these factors actually are to be taken into consideration during the design of the foundation. So the passive and the active earth pressure, the lateral force, okay. So the active and passive earth pressure act horizontally from the ground into the building, that is perpendicular to the height of the building. The lateral force is parallel to the height of the building, and the shear resistance is horizontally parallel to the width of the building. Now there is a situation called settlement of foundation. Settlement is the gradual subsiding of a structure as the soil beneath its foundation consolidates under loading. And this happens generally when there are voids like air and water in the soil strata beneath, uh, you know, when that closes up actually. Okay, so this is very negligible in the case of soil types like coarse and gravel soil. But if the soil type is moist, like the cohesive clay, which has large percentage of voids, then settlement occurs gradually and over a period of time. So this is very detrimental and serious to the structure, and the building can eventually collapse. A properly designed and constructed foundation system should distribute its load in such a way that even if a settlement occurs, it would be uniformly distributed, and what we get to see is a uniform settlement, which is actually not detrimental. Now let us look at the core of the first unit in BC3, that is the types of foundation systems. Now types of foundation systems. Let us have a look at what are the basic types of foundations. One is the shallow foundation. Then comes the deep foundation. So in shallow foundation, we have spread or isolated footing, strip foundation, mat or rough foundation, combined foundation. In deep foundation, we have foundations like the pile foundation. So that is the basic difference between shallow and deep foundation. Now, if you look at the right hand side over here, under the deep foundations, you have the pile, the caissons, or the well foundation. Okay, and shallow foundation is actually, uh, it is called shallow because its depth is more or less equal or less than the width. And we go for shallow foundation when there is a stable soil of adequate bearing capacity near the ground level. Whereas deep foundations are those in which the depth of the foundation is very large compared to the width. And it is used when the soil beneath is unstable or low in bearing capacity. These types extends so very down below to transfer the load till the bearing stratum is reached. Type of spread footings: single and isolated footing, strip footing, continuous, strap, and step footing. Let us have a look at the most common types of spread footings over here. You can see the spread footing. This is the isolated footing. Here you see the stiff footing. Here you can see the stepped footing, cantilever or a strap footing, etc. These are the different types of the shallow foundations. Here you can see a mat or a raft foundation where Many number of columns are taken care, and the load is eventually transferred by means of placing a raft or a mat. Here you can see a typical section through the foundation of an isolated footing. You can see very clearly here, you can see the base. Okay, you can see the reinforcement over here, the main reinforcement, and you can see the main vertical reinforcement, when it is connected to the column. Okay, the pedestal. So here you can see the pedestal, and the column and the pedestal over here. The bearing capacity has to be matched. Okay, here you can see the plan, and this is the section. So here you can see the stirrups, the vertical reinforcement, the lateral reinforcement over here. Okay, so this is a steel column is the wooden one, and this is the RCC that we're talking about. Let us have a broad look at the types of D foundations, the pile and the caisson. A pile foundation is a system of uh, you know end bearing or friction piles, pile caps, and tie beams for transferring building loads down to a suitable bearing stratum. And this happens when we are looking at a lot of cohesive, clayey, soft soil. Okay. And pile foundations may be of steel at sections, concrete filled piles, precast, reinforced, or pre-stressed concrete, etc. They are driven into the earth by a pile driver composed of a tall framework supporting machinery for lifting the pile in position before driving, and a driving hammer and vertical rails or leads for guiding the hammer. End bearing piles depend principally on the bearing resistance of soil or rock beneath their feet for support. The surrounding soil mass provides a degree of lateral stability for the long compression members. The friction piles essentially depend on the frictional resistance of the surrounding earth mass. Okay, so as the word says, friction, the surrounding earth offers friction when the pile is driven into the earth. So you can see the pile cap over here, you can see the column over here, and you can see four number of piles that are driven as a cluster. So this is a cluster, this is a cluster of three, this is a cluster of four. You can see the column load eventually taken by the pile cap, and the pile cap distributes the load evenly into all the four piles. Now this is where you have again here you have the pile cap, the column, and see the long slender piles driven until the bearing stratum of the soil is reached. Here you can see the here you can see the different types of piles that are used. Okay, so here you can see the uncased piles, the cased piles, the filled piles, the cast in place concrete piles, the micro piles, pedestal pile, etc. All kinds of piles. A caisson foundation, these are cast in place plain or reinforced piers formed by boring with a large auger or excavating by a shaft in the earth to suitable bearing stratum and filling the shaft with the concrete. Okay, so they are also referred to as drilled piles or piers, especially for the roads, overhead the the flyovers, the bridges, etc. So this is how it looks like. So caisson foundations are normally used in the case of bridge piers, docks, large waterfront structure, etc. Okay, so this is a basic overview of the foundation. Now we are going to look at the details, design, construction, reinforcement, of the different types of foundations. Okay, so with this we come to the end of this lecture. But before that, let us have a look at what are the factors that we need to consider while selecting and designing the appropriate foundation system. So the pattern and magnitude of the building load, subsurface and groundwater conditions, topography of the site, impact on adjacent properties, building code requirements, construction method, and risk. So, these are the factors that we need to consider before we start to design the appropriate foundation system. Okay, so now we are going to take a look at the construction part of the foundation. So let us, take a look at. Um, just a second. Okay, so now here we are going to look at the different types of shallow foundation, and let us have a look at how it is, how the design looks like and how the reinforcement are provided. So let us start with the isolated footing first here on the right hand side that you see. Okay, so okay, so here you can see that we are looking at a sand filling. Okay, so there is a sand filling that we are looking at here for a height of 15 centimeters, that is 150 mm. Then we have a PCC layer of 10 centimeters, that is to the ratio of 1 is to 4 is to 8. 1 part of cement, 4 parts of sand, and 8 parts of coarse aggregate. Above that is our, the foundation. Here you can see there is a tapering foundation design that you have, and then you have the pedestal that is designed. Above the pedestal you have the column running. So here you can see very clearly, if you look at the detailing of the reinforcement, you can see that the reinforcement, this is the main reinforcement which is shown with the arrows over here, and then you can see the lateral reinforcement which is seen in cross section, and here you can see again, you can see the main reinforcement. Okay, and as you go up here you can see the lateral reinforcement which is actually parallel to the base of the sand filling. Okay, and here you can also see the vertical reinforcement on the left hand side and the right hand side, which is provided to take care of the tensile stress of the vertical member. So here you can see the ground level, and this extends up beyond the ground. So this is the plinth beam that you can see over here. So till the plinth beam, it is the part of the foundation. Above the plinth beam, we talk about it as the column. So that is how it is done. So from here you can see that there is a pedestal over here, and up till here you have the plinth beam, and above that is your ground level. So here you can see very clearly the lateral reinforcement which is actually perpendicular to the height of the the pedestal, and here you can see the vertical reinforcement, the main reinforcement. And when you come to the plan, this is the column, which is a 23 by 23 column. This is the pedestal, and the tapered foundation. Okay, so now let us take a look at the isolated. Sorry. So we have a comparison here, the isolated footing. This also means it is an individual spread footing supporting the freestanding columns and the piers. So this basically support an isolated footing will support individual columns, bottom line. Okay. Now continuous footing. Here you can see that there are three columns. So to support a row of columns, we go with a continuous footing where you have the concrete footing which is extended to take care of and to have three or more columns which are closely spaced. And here you can have a strip, as the name says, you can see it as in the form of a strip. And these are basically continuous spread footings of the foundation wall itself. This is a combined footing. It is a reinforced concrete footing which will look like an isolated, also like a strip. So kind of isolated plus strip, that is what we call as the combined footing. Here you have a different kind of footing, that is a mat or a raft foundation, is a thick, heavily reinforced concrete slab that serves as a single monolithic footing for a number of columns or an entire building even. Okay, and mat foundation normally used when the allowable bearing capacity of foundation is very low, okay, compared to the building loads, and interior column footing also becomes so large that it becomes very economical to merge them into a single slab. So this is how it looks like. Now this is our pile foundation. Now let us look at the structure of a pile foundation. Here you have the plan, the pile cap, this is the pile cap, this is the column, these are the four piles. So in a view, you see the column, you see the pile cap, and then you see the four piles. So what is the function of a pile cap? That joins the heads of a cluster of piles in order to distribute the load from a column or grade beam equally among the piles. So that is actually the function of a pile cap. Piles are usually driven in clusters or two or more, and spaced at least with the gap of let us say 60 centimeter or up to 1.2 meters. Now, this is the bearing stratum of the soil or the rock. The piles are driven right up till it reaches the bearing stratum. Uh, it is driven into the earth by a pile driver composed of a tall framework supporting machinery for lifting the pile in position before driving. A driving hammer and vertical rails or leads for guiding the hammer. Friction piles, these are the friction piles which generally depend on the frictional resistance of the surrounding earth mass for the support. So the surrounding earth mass gives the support to the pile as it is being driven into. End bearing piles depend principally on the bearing resistance of the soil or the rock beneath their feet for the support. This is the bearing stratum of the soil or the rock. So with that we come to the end of the types of foundations. What are the criteria that we need to look into while designing and constructing foundations? What are the different reinforcement types, different types of columns, beams, and also the different types of foundations, and what foundation do we use, when do we use it? Okay, so with that we come to the end of this class, and in the next session we are going to talk about the different the kind of the reinforcement, and also the kind of detailing, and you're going to do the plates based on that. And all these details are going to be drafted by you. The rest of the details will be posted in the Google Classroom. Thank you.